for the Royal Knights. They lead it 12-2, and if it ends this way, it'll be over. So Bayonne need to score some runs here. He gets back again. Tedesco batting with a full count. Runners at first and third. He has 4 RBIs via the grand slam in the first inning.
Marist has capitalized on every opportunity given him today by the Bees.
That's down low. Hoping for a call, but not getting it was Tui, and that will load him again. Tui has now hit 2 batters and walked 3. Bayonne does not have a hit in this inning, as they also reached on an error, and yet they have 3 runs. Something that Phil Baccarella will not be happy with. If you're going to get beat, you might as well let them hit you.
Let them put the ball in play. Have defense behind you.
Mike Zanone will step in now. Zanone 0 for 3 on the day, grounded to short, line to right, and fly to left. Tui with nowhere to put Zanone. That's a fastball. Drilled to deep right field. Young going back, and it's off the fence. Young retrieving. 1 run scores, and they will hold the runner, so that's going to be a long single, John, and Zanone's got to be disappointed with that. Interesting, John, because 2 outs.
Yep.
2, I believe there's 2. No.
1 out.
Check that, 1 out, sir. I'm wrong.
They had to hold the runners.
I thought there were 2.
That will be the longest RBI single you will see all year.
I believe so. But, John, go back to Young's great play. Young makes that great play. Has the Marist runners thinking a little bit, I think.
That's true.
You know, it makes them hold up a little bit longer than they normally would. So that pays off for him later on in the game, I believe.
RBI for Mike Zanone as well.
And the bases remain full as Lou Pichon steps in. And Lou had a home run back in the first. And a pass ball, actually a wild pitch. Cornelius can't find it. And Tui hustles in to make the retrieval. So Lou Pichon now with the bases loaded, getting a chance to pad the Marist lead.
A lot of base runners today for the Royal Knights, and they've seemed to capitalize as they have not left that many guys on.
Tui's 1-0 pitch is in for a called strike.
Head football coach stepping into the stadium, Gene Pagnozzi from the Marist Royal Knights.
Gene has done a tremendous job down here at Marist, John. 2 conference titles, back-to-back years. There's a short pop fly. Castaldo is there, and he makes the play. So Tui avoids further damage, but he hurts himself tremendously as he gives up 3 walks and 2 hit batsmen. Only 1 hit in the inning, but a long single, as John mentioned. So the Bayonne Bees fall behind now 13-2 as Marist picks up 4 runs.
And this will be Gonzalez again, and it's the second inning fall today that Marist has batted around.
4 runs, John, on just 1 hit. There was 1 error, and there were 3 runners left on base. John, what happened here?
Little chopper in front of the plate that was fielded by Cornelius, and he threw on to first for the putout.
I think I'm falling asleep. I keep thinking there's 3 outs. That was the 3rd out as Cornelius makes the play to first, and that will end the inning. Now the inning is over. So it stays the same. Marist picks up 4 more runs on 1 hit, 1 error, 3 left on, and the score now 13-2 as we move to the bottom of the 5th. Castaldo, Redondo, and Lorino. I guess, John, it's wishful thinking. I keep hoping there was 3 outs there. Thank you for the pickup.
4 runs on 1 hit. That'll drive a coach crazy.
No doubt about that. And the hit was nearly a grand slam home run.
Let him beat you with base hit after base hit.
Right. Well, you're going down into the depths of your pitching staff, and one that isn't deep to begin with. And you're bringing in, guys who normally do not get in there to throw. Now they're going up against, what may be the best team in the state. And you got to figure it's a little bit of nerves and just a little bit of Marist's ability to not swing at bad pitches. Weber now remains in the game, although we saw McMahon warming up. We had asked Marist to give any changes that they would make. Hopefully they haven't made any. We try and scour the field to see. As we move to the bottom of the 5th, Marist holding a commanding 13-2 lead over the Bayonne Bees. Paul Giorgio and John Ward bringing you the action here from Bayonne Veterans Memorial Stadium on a beautiful day Probably the best day weather-wise I've ever experienced at this
Well,
stage.
Paul, every time you're here, it's freezing. Every time you're
Usually
here.
here in the winter, in the fall. Castaldo will lead off. Comes in 0 for 1, although he's been on base twice. A wild pitch on the third strike and a walk. Weber with the breaking ball in for a call strike.
Weber looking to close out this game, possibly due to the 10-run rule.
That pitch was up in the zone, hitting the gap in right center. It's going to go through. Castaldo will have at least 2, and maybe 3. He has pretty good speed. He's heading for third, and he's going to get there. As he dives into third easily, a triple for Castaldo. The best ball, easily the best ball, hit off Weber.
And in the last 2 innings, Weber has been tagged pretty well by this Bayonne lineup.
So a line drive triple into the alley for Castaldo. And you get the feeling, John, that Bayonne does not want to go down via the 10-run rule. And they're going to have to score 2 here to avoid it as they trail by 11. This is the inning for the cutoff.
Big batters as well up for the Bees.
Redondo has walked and fly to center. As Castaldo is on third. Weber's breaking ball. Castaldo on at third. Bayonne trails by 11. They need to score 2 runs here to continue the game. Down low. 2-0. It'll be Redondo, Lorino, and Johnson. Weber's 2-0 has popped up. Short in the infield. Duncan coming in and making the play in fair ground. Did he call it a foul? He called it a foul. Well, in any event, it is an out.
As
it was a fly ball. Duncan made the play. Redondo goes down.
A little collision there between Redondo and Duncan. Nobody hurt.
So Lorino will step in, and Lorino has done nothing but breaking balls, John, and has not touched them. And Weber goes back to the same, so he definitely has the book on Lorino here thus far. 0-1.
Come on, you want the batter, Dave, you want the batter.
There's a ground ball down the left field line, and it's foul.
Now it's foul, just missing going over the third base bag, and that would have been a 2-base hit. Would have scored a run easily.
So the count goes 0-2 to Lorino. Castaldo on at third. 1 out. Bottom of the 5th, and it might be the bottom of the last, unless Bayonne can make something happen here. I think there is a rule, John. They can opt to play 7 if they both agree to it. So they could continue, but I don't think so. It normally doesn't happen. And another breaking ball, and Lorino goes down again. So Weber
just owns.
Toyed with Lorino today with the breaking pitch. 2 down. And Ray Johnson steps up. Ray singled to left and scored. Back in the 4th and grounded to second in the 2nd. Weber with a breaking ball in for a call strike. That fast breaking ball is effective.
Come on.
The 0-1 pitch to Johnson, swung on and missed.
That's the good-looking pitch right there from Dave Weber.
Takes a little bit off that one. And the count goes to 0-2. Bayonne 1 strike away from what could be the last out of the game. And swung on and missed. And I believe that's going to do it, John. As Weber strikes out Johnson.
Now Bayonne is heading out.
They're going to head out, so I guess they're going to continue. They probably have an agreement. Maybe they know they're on TV and they want to continue playing. So, on the inning for Bayonne, no runs, 1 hit, no Marist errors, 1 runner left on base. We've gone 5 full, and we're going to continue with the score. The Marist Royal Knights 13 and the Bayonne Bees 2. As I said, John, there is an agreement that you can keep playing. And I guess these 2 schools being within the city, early in the season, teams looking for work. It's not just a win-loss situation. They're looking to get their kids some work, so they're going to continue playing. It's a nice thing to say, and gives me a chance, you and I, a chance to talk away here.
Schmooze a little bit, as they say in the trade.
Having problems here today, though. Not so much with the angle that we're at, but the monitor has been blinded by the sun. So we're trying to pick that up too, and doing the best we can here. Our crack staff has done all they can, but sometimes the weather conditions are not conducive to perfect situation. And of course, you can't blame the out calls on the crew. That's my fault. But it's early in the season, and it's early for us too, I guess, right? Or at least for me. We'll move to the 6th. And Marist will send up the top of their order. Rubino, Mullane, and Weber are scheduled unless we get changes. Tui continues for Bayonne.
You'll probably see Tui the rest of the way, most likely. No need for Coach Baccarel to go deeper into that bullpen.
As we mentioned earlier, if you're just tuning in, Bayonne trailing 13-2 to Marist. They're in the top of the 6th. If you're wondering why the game is continuing, because they do have a 10-run rule in high school baseball. I'm sure there was an agreement made by the two teams to continue this game, and it's a nice gesture on the part of both coaches. I'm sure the umpires aren't always happy with that, John. But they haven't really been here that long. It hasn't been that long of a game. It's about an hour, a little over an hour and a half right now. And, high school baseball games can go a lot longer than that. So we go now to the 6th. And Matt Rubino, who is 4 for 4 with 4 singles, will lead off against Tui.
Not a bad day's work.
First pitch is up high, 1-0, so Tui continues to fall behind. One-0 is inside, 2-0. Rubino, the shortstop. 4 for 4, has 2 infield hits. The 2-0 pitch is in for a call strike. Mullane and Weber will follow.
So far, Devon Duncan, the only batter in the Marist lineup without a base hit, and that's the cleanup hitter.
Gotta think, John, if Bayonne could ever come back and win this game, I would think that Mike Hogan might be very upset with himself.
But that would really go to the saying nice guys finish last.
So Rubino walks.
Went on base all 5 times. They were 3 base hits and 2 walks.
And it brings up Mike Mullane.
Mullane having a good day as well.
Mullane hits a fly ball to left field. Getting underneath it, or nearly getting underneath it. Does not make the play, however. Looked like originally had a beat on it.
Looked like he had it all lined up and just lost it.
Obviously misjudged it, and it falls in. I guess we'll give him a hit on that one. It was a deep shot. So it'll be first and second as Mullane gets on again. He's 4 for 5. And it brings up Dave Weber, the number 3 hitter. Weber, 2 for 4 today, has reached base 3 times. He had a long double to center back in the first inning. He had 2 base hits in the first inning. And Weber hits a deep drive to deep left center, and going back and making the catch very, very nonchalantly is Lorino.
Nice catch by the center fielder. He got a good beat on that ball. Was trying to gauge where the fence was and made a nice running catch to nullify Dave Weber of at least an extra base hit.
Nice play by Lorino. Very, very nonchalant, John. I think he was having some trouble with it, but was able to come up with it up near the fence and left center. So 1 out. Rubino and Mullane hold at second and first. And it brings up Duncan. And that nearly hit Duncan. Inside for a ball. Duncan, as John mentioned, 0 for 3 and was hit once and scored. And he is very ironic, the only Marist hitter without a base hit. A 1-0 pitch, and he's trying to unload.
He uppercuts on all his swings.
Yeah, he does uppercut, and I think he's overswinging and pulling his head off the ball as well. He's looking to park one, there's no doubt about that. Count 1-1. Tui fakes a throw to second.
Usually hear people yelling, balk, balk on that one. But as you know, you can fake to second as well as third.
1-1 count. Tui versus Duncan, and we're going to get a timeout. As Duncan was waiting a little bit too long to his liking. Mullane on it first, Rubino on it second. They've been on all day. Rubino's been on 5 times. Mullane's been on 4 times. Tui's 1-1 is fouled back. 1-2. Juan Abreu waits on deck. Marist leading it 13-2, looking to go 3-0 in the HCIAA.
I guess we can stand corrected. Abreu does not have a base hit as well.
That's right. He has walked twice. You're right.
So Abreu and Duncan, the only Marist hitters in today's lineup without a base hit.
1-2 pitch, hit on the ground in the hole, base hit. And the runner coming home. Here comes a throw. Rubino will score. As Duncan holds it first and Mullane holds it second, so Rubino scores the 14th run for Marist, and Duncan now has his first base hit, and it brings up Abreu, who was the only Marist hitter now who does not have a base hit.
So Duncan gets himself a base hit and gets himself into the books where everybody's got at least a base hit. He doesn't want to be left out. They put on some hitting exhibition today, that being the Royal Knights.
That's his second RBI of the day, as he was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. And that's a tough way to earn an RBI.
Sometimes you'll take it.
So runners are first and second, and Juan Abreu, who has walked twice with the bases loaded, grounded to short, and popped to short. The base is full of Royal Knights. Well, check that. Runners are first and second, as Rubino did score. Tui has his work cut out for him. That's just 1 out. Abreu swinging at the first pitch, hit up the middle. Knight, oh, it goes through. Castaldo nearly had it. Here comes the throw in, and the runners will hold. As Castaldo nearly came up with that.
Would have been a beautiful play by the second baseman. And now Abreu follows suit with Duncan to get their names in the part of the book that has everybody for a base hit. So everybody in the Royal Knight lineup has singled at least once.
And it'll bring up Tony Tedesco. And Tony, last time he was up with the bases loaded, walked. Okay, and early in the game he hit a grand slam home run. Now we're going to take a break right here, and we'll be back here at Bayonne Veterans Stadium with the score of Marist 14, Bayonne 2.
Vince, that new dummy cam is great.
Yeah, it'll sure give people a whole new outlook on what it's like when you don't wear a safety belt.
I think they'll get the picture.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Joe and John Ward here at the Vet in New Jersey on the banks of the Newark Bay in Bayonne, New Jersey, as Cablevision of Bayonne continues its coverage with Marist leading Bayonne 14-2. Tui now balks as Palucci did not look to cover first, and Tui did not throw the ball for fear of creating an error. However, he creates a balk, and 1 run scores for Marist.
Mullane comes across with the run.
And they dig themselves in deeper. Marist now leading 15-2.
And each runner will move up a base on the balk from Tui.
Duncan goes to third. Abreu moves to second. Tony Tedesco is the hitter. Tui will work from the stretch. He has one out with runners at second and third. And Tony Tedesco, who has grand slam in the first inning, steps in. That's up high. 1-0 to Tedesco.
Everything reverts back to the first inning when Tedesco unloaded on a grand slam off of starting pitcher Ray Johnson. That gave the Royal Knights a 5-0 lead.
Tedesco hits a deep fly ball to right center, right field. Young makes the play. The runners will tag and should score easily. Coming across is Duncan.
To a sac fly for Tedesco and another RBI.
It's 5 on the day for Tedesco. Duncan scores. Abreu moves to third. And it's now 16-2 in favor of the Royal Knights. And that was hit to right center, just that Young was so far over that he was able to make the play.
Young's been chaining all the right-handed hitters this whole lineup towards right center field.
And well, he should, John, as they have not had any problems getting around on the Bayonne pitchers, particularly Tui. 2 down now. A 16-2 Marist lead. And that pitch is inside and low for a ball. I think we may have a different hitter up there. Looks like... Oh, it's still number 14.
So
okay.
no.
I thought we had 24 in there. It's not. There's a shot down the line, and it skips over Redondo's glove. A bad hop base hit to left field for Zanone.
So a bad hop base hit for Zanone.
And it brings up Lou Pichon. Pichon is 1 for 4 with a home run, a solo home run in the first. He struck out in the second, fly to right in the fourth, and popped to second in the fifth.
So 4 runs in this inning for the Royal Knights, and they've really opened up the floodgates now.
17-2. That pitch is swung on, hitting the hole. Nice diving stop by Redondo, but he can't hold on. That'll go as an infield hit. A nice play by Redondo just to get a glove on it.
A little Brooks Robinson out there, that being Tony Redondo.
It's going to make it first and second again. And Julio Gonzalez will step in. Julio is 1 for 2. He doubled, grounded to the catcher, bounced to the catcher, a little nubber back in the fifth. He walked and was hit by a pitch, so he's been on base 3 times. And I think we may get a change here, John, as Mike Hogan mercifully digs into his bench here finally. Runners on first and second and 2 out when play resumes. I think we're getting a pinch hitter, and we're going to wait to see who it is. Tui has been roughed up for 8 runs in just 2 innings of work, not even 2 innings. We're going to get Tommy Lee, number 20, coming in. He will bat for Julio Gonzalez. Lee, one of the rotating third basemen for the Royal Knights. Well, you may see some action at second here today. We have not seen Lee today. This is his first appearance. So it'll be Tui versus Lee. Runners at first and second.
So Lee will go in to play second base instead of Gonzalez.
Tui's first pitch, a breaking ball in on the hands. Swung on a missed strike 1. Tui's 0-1. Is down low, 1-1.
Gonzalez on the day was on base 3 out of the 4 times with a hit by pitch, a walk, and a double, and he grounded out 2-3. So good day by the freshman, Julio Gonzalez.
There's the 1-1. A foul tip. Makes it 1-2. Zanone on at second, Pichon on at first. Marist with more than enough runs here in this game, barring a miracle. Runners at first and second. And Tommy Lee, the pinch hitter. A 1-2 pitch is in there for a call strike. And Lee goes down looking. So the inning ends. Once again, Marist scores 4 runs for the second inning in a row. We had them down for, looked like 5 base hits. 5 hits. There were no Bayonne errors in the inning. And they left 2 on base. So we have now gone 5.5 here at Veterans Stadium. And the score, Marist 17, Bayonne 2. And John, what does Phil Beccarello tell his team at a point like this? Actually, the game could have been over.
Well, it'll be interesting to see also after this inning, Paul, you know, if they don't close the gap at all, if they say, that's it, fellas, and let's get out of here. Because, you know, the 10-run rule is in effect. It's been in effect now for a half an inning. So it'll be interesting to see what transpires here after this inning.
Marist will make some changes. John Lee will go and play third. Looks like Duncan will move to second. And Mingoya will move to first. So some defensive changes. Tommy Lee into play third here in the 6th inning. Devon Duncan moves to second. And Chris Mingoya moves to first.
Interesting that Dave Weber's still in the game, Paul.
Yeah, it is. I guess Mike feels that Mike Hogan, head coach of Marist, feels that
maybe his pitch count isn't that high right yet. As of yet.
Well, I can try and get that. There haven't been too many foul balls. I do have some type of count. I haven't really kept it here. I mean, I've kept it, but I haven't really referred to it. See if I can figure it out as we go along here. Well, we're going to start, so maybe between the inning. If we get between the inning. PJ Zarichny, 2 for 2 on the day.
2 excuse-me type swings, but good enough for base hits.
A low fastball swung on and fouled back.
That is his normal swing, Paul. You could just tell.
Zarichny 2 for 2. He singled in the 2nd, scratch hit through the middle, and then poked one through the left side in the 4th. Bayonne trails by 15 runs, and possibility is very, very small they're going to come back in this game. As a matter of fact, this game would have been over had the coaches abided by the book rule, but they are opted to continue playing, which they did. 0-1. Weber has been in control from start to this point. That pitch is up high, 1-1. He will face Zarichny, Palucci, and Cornelius. They're scheduled here in the 6th. 1-1. Breaking ball misses.
Pretty good from here.
2-1. PJ Zarichny, just a junior. As 5 Bayonne starters are juniors. A 2-1 fastball as Weber decides to just go to the heat here. 2-2. And this is a quality baseball team you are watching in Marist. Maybe the best in the state. Right now they are ranked first. There's a ground ball to second. Duncan, who has just moved over there, throws him out for out number 1 as Zarichny goes down for the first time today. 1 out, and it brings up Damian Palucci, who has been hit by a pitch and had a sacrifice fly for an RBI back in the 4th. One down here in the 6th. This, again, John, could be the last inning.
Bayonne hasn't had that one real explosive inning where they put like 5-6 runs on the board. They've run themselves out of a couple of innings.
Yes, they have. 2 big threats that they had were shut down by fine defensive plays and bad base running. Now the count goes to 2-0 to Palucci. Weber now going to a lot of heat. There's a breaking ball, misses. 3-0. Cornelius is on deck. He's 1 for 2 on the day, and he'll be followed by Tui is scheduled. Weber's 3-0 pitch is up high and outside, ball 4, so Palucci gets himself on base again. He is 0 for 0 on the day, John. That's an interesting stat. He has a sacrifice fly and a walk and has been hit.
0 for 0 in a box score with a run batted in. Not too bad.
And it brings up Jose Cornelius, who struck out and singled back in the 4th and scored a run. Palucci on at first. I doubt if he'll be running. Well,
Coach Beccarello takes a timeout.
Coming out to talk to him, so maybe he will be running. And they're talking to the Marist bench. Beccarello giving some instruction to Palucci. He's probably telling him, well, we have this special play where you can get 14 runs on on one trip around the bases. If he can come up with that.
I want to know about it.
Yeah. Jose Cornelius will step in. It has been all Marist from start to right here in the 6th inning. 8 runs in the 1st. And then 8 more in the last 2 innings. Any chance that Bayonne had has been obliterated against Tui. Giving up 8 runs in 2 innings. Palucci takes his lead off first. No one will hold him on. Weber will work from the stretch, and he will face Cornelius.
Mingoya will not hold him on with the big lead.
Weber to the stretch. The first pitch, a fastball down the chute, swung on and missed strike 1. Got to think, John, that if Weber goes with good heat, he can get Cornelius. The 0-1 pitch, swung on and missed strike 2.
Just what he's coming with, the straight overhand fastball. What he's basically telling Cornelius is, you got to hit my best.
That's it. Count goes to 0-2. The 0-2 pitch is a breaking ball, blocked by Abreu, but it rolls away, and Palucci will move to second on the wild pitch.
One trickled off Abreu's shoulders. That one just hurt him a little bit.
Abreu has been roughed up a little bit here today, John. He was hit with a throw while running the bases.
They tried to waste one there on Cornelius, and went in the dirt, so as you said,
I noticed
Palucci moves up.
One thing about Weber, John, that I noticed, when he's going to throw that breaking ball, you can see him toying the glove as he's going into his windup. And it's something that maybe some of the scouts can look for as far as improving, Dave. But that's something I think I've noticed here today. He fumbles in that glove with the breaking ball. Fastball up out of the zone, and Cornelius fouls it off. See if we can see it again. That's the only flaw he has. It's not a bad one.
It's an easy one to work on.
Count goes to 1-2. Fastball on the outside corner, and Cornelius goes down looking. Great pitch from Weber. 2 down. The scheduled hitter is Tui, but we will not get Tui. We will get a pinch hitter. It looks like number 14 for Bayonne. And we'll check our roster to see just who that is.
8 strikeouts on the day for the senior right-hander David Weber.
Charlie Restivo will be the pinch hitter here in the 6th as he reports into the game. 2 down here in the 6th. It's been all Marist. They lead it 17-2. Coming in here, we thought this was going to be a decent battle, but Marist ended those thoughts real quick.
Very quick. Well, actually, the first 6 guys scored. First 5 guys scored due to the big blow from Tedesco.
Breaking ball. Restivo looks at it, and that thing dropped off the table and caught Restivo on the knees. Strike 1. That pitch is practically unhittable, John. 0-1. 2 down. Palucci on at second.
Weber's been mixing in that curveball with that.
Another breaking ball. Restivo waves at it. 0-2.
You good now, buddy.
Be interesting to see if they continue past this inning. Weber's 0-2 fastball. Restivo got a bat on it deep to center, and it is gone. Restivo down 0-2, sticks the bat out and drives it out of here. About 320. Just got over the fence, but nonetheless, a surprising home run by Charlie Restivo. And that's got to upset Dave Weber. He came in with straight heat, John, and Restivo took him. And as you said, it was basically a check swing.
It looked like a check swing, Paul. He reached down around knee-high for that fastball. And I think this was a case where you hear it a lot, Paul. The pitcher supplied the power behind that.
That's right. Absolutely, John, as Restivo drills it out of here.
And he check swing that.
Unbelievable, but when you throw with that kind of velocity, that's really all you have to do. Didn't think it was going to make it, and it just got over the fence. So Charlie Restivo, the pinch hitter, drills a home run, a line drive to left center field.
Makes his time at bat a very valuable one.
And it brings up Eddie Young. And that's high for a ball. So 2 RBIs for Restivo. And he's quite glad he got his turn at the plate today. A 1-0 pitch, breaking ball misses, 2-0. And this score is, right now, John, is almost identical to last year.
Almost duplicate of last year.
We've got, I think, 17.
A little bit more on the line last year, that being the
last
playoffs.
year, I believe it was 18-5. Fastball in for a call strike. Weber came in with a fastball to Restivo, John, after throwing him 2 nice breaking balls.
And a knee-high fastball, good location, and he just went down and got it. And
Young sticks the bat out and hits a flare to center.
Paul, what that is right
hit.
now, it's Dave Weber supplying the power behind the pitch. And all you got to do is connect, and everything will take care of itself.
Well, Eddie Young has had a fine day today, John. 2 base hits, 2 line drive base hits, a great play in right field. He's played a steady right field all around. And he's had a terrific day for Bayonne. 2 more hits. That gives Bayonne 9 hits against Weber, which is not bad. Castaldo now will hit. Young taking a huge lead. Breaking ball hit on the ground at third. And over to Duncan for the out. The play made by Lee, who just entered the game. He throws out Castaldo, and that ends the inning. But Bayonne picks up 2 more, and we are going to continue to the 7th. The score now after 6, Marist 17, Bayonne 4. And how about Charlie Restivo, John?
Well, you got to give the kid a lot of credit. He steps up in a situation where he's pinch hitting in a game that is way out of control. He's down 2 strikes, and he reaches out for a fastball and pokes it over the left center field fence for a 2-run homer. So one day he could say, hey, I hit a 2-run homer off Dave Weber in a pinch hitting role.
Especially if Weber gets to the pros someday, which he may be on target for. And now we're going to get the gentleman who we were supposed to see earlier, according to Phil Beccarella, in relief, Chris Lorino, now coming in to pitch the 7th. And he is the brother of Joe Lorino, the center fielder. Chris will come in now in the 7th, scheduled to face the top of the Marist order, Rubino, Mullane, and Weber. This game, the competitive phase of this game ended very early. Marist took an 8-0 lead in the first inning, and Bayonne came back at 9-2, and then Marist feasted. Marist feasted on relief pitcher Tui for 8 runs in 2 innings. So now we have gone 6 innings as my partner breaks away to talk to a young lady. We move now to the 7th inning, and Tui on the mound still. Well, check that, Lorino now in the game for Bayonne, the 4th Bayonne pitcher of the day. And he will face the top of the Marist order, and Rubino will lead off. Rubino at 3 for 3 and has walked twice, scored 4 runs. Bayonne huddles now to close out the game here in the 7th inning. They certainly haven't quit. They've just been outplayed by a much better team today. Matt Rubino will lead it off for Marist. It's the leadoff hitter's job to get on base. Well, and Rubino has done more than the job. 5 times up, 5 times on base. First pitch is up high for a ball.
So they're continuing regardless of the 10-run rule, and I guess it was just a gentleman's agreement between Coach Baccarella and Coach Hogan.
The 1 pitch is in for a call strike. Nice gesture to see, John, and not really a dangerous gesture by Hogan, but hey, you never know what can happen in a ball game. Count goes to 1-1.
Temperature's starting to get a little cool now.
Now this is the Veterans Stadium that I know. There's a chopper to short. Johnson throws, and Palucci cannot handle it. I think John went through the webbing of his glove.
Sure did, and he broke the webbing, so it'll go as an E3 error on Palucci.
Unbelievable. We have seen it all today. It should be a routine out, goes through Palucci's webbing as he gets a new glove. And we'll bring up Mike Mullane. Mullane on the day is 4 for 5 with 4 singles, 1 a bunt. He has scored 2 runs. Rubino on base 6 times today, John. You can't ask for anything more from your leadoff hitter.
Not at all.
It'll be Mullane, Weber, and Duncan now to face Lorino. Here in the 7th, Marist in total control.
This is comfortable weather right now.
Now
The sun
this
is
is
going
very
down.
nice.
Slight little breeze blowing out towards left.
Lorino working from the stretch. Down low and inside, ball 1.
Big ship out there making its way into the dock.
A beautiful setting here right now at Veterans Stadium. This is a nice stadium, it's just that the weather here can be brutal. It's the only real knock on this place. The city of Bayonne preserves this stadium very well, John. Probably the best job of taking care of a stadium in the county.
Well, they
really do
use
a fantastic
they use
job.
portions of this, as you can see in the outfield, is portions of the football as well as soccer field. So I don't know if they've ever thought about turfing this field at all.
Reno's 1-1 misses. It's 2-1.
Would you want to see it turfed?
No, this is a nice field, and they take good care of it. I don't think it needs to be turfed. I really don't. Now, you're talking about fields that are overused, like Union City Roosevelt Stadium. Yeah, you need a turf there.
Or a Cochran Stadium over in Jersey City.
Yeah, that could probably use a turf, although it's still in pretty good shape. Not that old. Count goes to 2-2. Mullane followed by Weber. Weber will be looking to make up for that one he gave up. Well, Lorino thus far showing some decent velocity and good location. Goes to 3-2 now. Rubino on at first.
Keep in mind the Bees have not played without Steve Malia today. He was ejected from the Hudson Catholic game, and he has to serve a 2-game suspension.
That's correct. That's foul back. The count remains full. Pitch was out of the zone, but Mullane went after it. Bayonne on the day.
That is a pinch hitter. That is not
it?
Mike Molina.
Okay.
It's number 4, Chris Mingoya, who originally started at third base.
He entered the game as the third baseman.
Right.
Well, now he's playing first, and he will hit. So that means Mullane is done. Good pickup by John. And there's a walk to Mingoya in his first at-bat. So Mullane done for the day. Mingoya walks. Runners at first and second, and this is Dave Weber coming up. Weber is 2 for 5. He has doubled, singled, hit into a double play, reached on an error, and fly to center. Runners at first and second, top of the 7th inning in a game that could have ended a while ago, but was opted to continue by the coaching staffs. First pitch is in for a called strike. Marist would have won by the 10-run rule after 5. But they decided to keep playing, and Marist now leads 17-4 here in the 7th. The 0-1 pitch, swung on and missed. Nice pitch by Lorino, low breaking ball. Weber waves over it. Count goes to 0-2. Mingoya on at first, Rubino at second. Lorino from the stretch. And now I can see the monitor, John. First time today as the sun starts to set a little bit.
Next telecast here on Cablevision of Bayonne will be a couple days from now when the same Marist Royal Knights play host to the St. Peter's Prep Marauders, head coached down there by Joe Urbanovich, and they're having off to a good start, that being the Prep. That's out of
There's
here.
a shot drilled to deep left center, and that is gone. Dave Weber makes up for the home run that he gave up as he blasts, and I mean blasts, a 3-run home run to left center field. And as John said, there was no question about that. That was well out of here, and that baby went about 350. So Dave Weber adds to the lead, and it's now a 20-4 ball game.
Actually, Weber's hit the 2 hardest balls today, furthest balls today. One was happened to be in the deepest part of the ballpark where bounced over for a double, and that one was just no doubt about it.
That was gone off the crack. The outfielders just turned in and watched it, almost admired it. It was hit so far. A 3-run home run for Weber, and Marist leads 20-4. And maybe Phil Beccarella right now is wondering, well, maybe I shouldn't have continued this game. And Devon Duncan will step in now with nobody out. Marino was doing pretty well, John. He was keeping the ball down. You make a mistake against a Weber or a Duncan, and you're going to pay for it big time.
Well, the whole inning was set off when the ball to short was thrown over by Johnson and plenty of time to get Rubino, but it went through the webbing of Palucci.
high breaking ball. Duncan threw a bunt. That was interesting. That is the third Marist home run. The fourth of the day. Bayonne has one.
So far, I've been here when it's warm out, and the ball does travel very well here. The warmer it gets, the further the ball travels here. On those cold days when the wind is coming in off the bay, it's very tough to jack one out of here. But nonetheless, 4 home runs have been hit today.
Now we're going to get a pinch hitter here now with a 1-1 count. Another interesting move. It's going to be number 12 from Marist.
Joe Stella.
Joe
He's a
Stella.
sophomore.
Stella started against St. Raymond's on Saturday at third base. He will come in and hit for Duncan. Interesting move by Hogan after a 1-1 count. Stella lines it. Nice play by Castaldo as he snares it.
Interesting sequence there, Paul. The first pitch of the ball, first pitch he looks at, he drills, but Castaldo snares it in, and it stops a base hit by Stella.
1 out, and Juan Abreu will hit. Abreu is 1 for 3 with 2 walks. He has 2 RBI on the day. So a line drive, a nice play by Castaldo as he reaches up to rob the pinch hitter Stella. We have 1 out, and Juan Abreu steps in. Marino's first pitch misses outside. 1-0. Abreu, as we said, a selective hitter. Marino's 1-0 is up high and outside. 2-0. Bayonne now 20 runs on 18 hits. It's pretty good run production.
Not a bad scoring line.
Check, that's Marist. 21 hit. That swung on and missed. So Lorino shows some signs, John, of velocity. I believe he's just a sophomore.
Try to sneak one by Dave Weber, and that was not to be.
Lorino, just a sophomore, so you've got a prospect here for the Bees.
Awfully young team, this Bayonne team.
There's a ground ball to second. Castaldo with a nice little scoop going to his left and throws out Abreu. And we've seen some nice defense from Castaldo. Looking a little bit like his dad today, John. I don't know, you probably don't remember Jerry Castaldo, but he was a terrific athlete.
Slick
Bayonne
fielding.
High School, a great football player. He was a Fran Tarkenton type. He could scramble. He was a great baseball player. I think he played some semi-pro. He may have even been drafted for all I know. He was a super athlete, and his son is not far behind.
Slick fielding second baseman Rod Castaldo.
This is Tony Tedesco, I think. I'm going to look to see if there's a change. Looks like number 13. I believe that's in.
Yes, it is.
1 ball. We had asked to have the changes made, but I guess at this point in time, the teams have said, well, let's just play. And
So it's like garbage time in basketball.
Yeah, right.
After a while, you don't really care who the subs are.
2-0. Then again, we're not too close to the benches either. It's kind of a long run for these people to come out here and make a change. 2-0 pitch is outside. 3-0. Marino falls behind once again. And we know that Tedesco certainly has the power to put one out. 3-0 is high and outside. They've been very careful with Tedesco since that first time up.
Well, basically what he did, Paul, in that first at bat, he sent a little message. You know, you make a mistake to me, I'm going to make you pay for it, and that's just what he did with the grand slam.
2 out, and it brings up Mike Zanone. Zanone 2 for 5. He has 2 singles in the last 2 trips. Tedesco on at first. Lorino, the left-hander, trailing 20-4 here in the 7th. Marist has put on quite a show. There's a foul ball. John, I was questioning whether Marist should still be the #1 team coming in here today, and I think I'm finding out why. They are still in the #1 spot.
Well, what they did today is they put the total package in front of us and said, here's what we've got to offer, and that is quite a bit from an offensive standpoint, defense, and we know about their pitching.
The 0-1 pitch. Here's a ball. 1-1. Tedesco on at first. Marist well in control. A 16-run lead here in the 7th. This game has gone over 2 hours easily. 2 hours, 17 minutes about. There's a shot hit in the air to center field. Moving over is Lorino. and Young, and Loreno can't get to it. He misjudged it, and Young didn't go after it. 1 run will score. The throw coming into Castaldo, and stopping at second is Zanone. He has, I guess we'll call it a double, although it could have very well been an error.
Looked like a little bit of confusion there between Loreno and Young. They didn't want to know which one she got it. Usually, Paul, the center fielder, takes control of that ball.
I believe that although Young, not really in a backup position, kind of just ran away from, not that he ran away from the ball, but gave Loreno room, but was in no position to help out on it. And
what also happens
falls in for a double.
Exactly. What happens on that one, the ball is drifting away from Loreno and towards Young, but somebody's got to take control out there.
And Young could have called him off, but I guess once he heard Loreno calling, said, never mind, and it falls in. Still, I thought Loreno could have had it. There's a foul back.
Lou Pichon.
Pichon, the star safety for the outstanding Marist football team, which won its 2nd straight American Conference title under head coach Gene Pagnozzi. And Marist will be strong once again next year, John, as we see Coach Pagnozzi. That pitch is up high.
Fine quarterback and Anthony Sharperson coming back.
Yeah, another good prospect in Rashad Casey.
What they want to do is they want to wipe out that state tournament loss to DePaul.
Yeah, that's for
where
sure.
Eon Hu just went crazy on him.
That was a very, very big, strong, quick line that DePaul had.
Hey, when you beat Pope John, as they did, you did something correct.
Count goes to 2-1. Pichon is followed by Tom Lee in the lineup, if we get that far. There's a ground ball up the middle. Castaldo diving, makes the stop, and the throw will not be in time. Palucci tries to block it. It gets past him, but no advancement. So that's an infield hit. And again, we see the great defensive play of Castaldo. Certainly not his fault on that. He made a great diving stop. Puts runners at first and third. And it brings up Tom Lee. As
the defensive
Coach
wizard
Pagnozzi
out there, Roddy Castaldo.
Pagnozzi walks by. Maybe he doesn't remember us. Maybe he's just mad because I didn't give him the rest of his stats at the end of the year. Well, the count goes, there is no count. Lee just steps in, runners at first and third. Lee hits a short fly ball to center. Coming in, Loreno, and he's got a beat on it. Makes the play. So, 3 down. But once again, for the 3rd time in the last 3 innings, John, Marist scores 4 runs. And they put together 4 runs that inning on 3 base hits. There was 1 Bayonne error, and there were 2 runners left on base. So now we have gone 6.5, and it's Marist 20, Bayonne 4. And John's going to correct me here. It's Marist 21, Bayonne 4.
2 for 2 on corrections today.
I didn't take my. Well, I'm going to start calling you Bob Anthony here. Correcting me all the time.
My math is good.
21-4. Marist leading by 17. And
well, in danger.
Not unless Mr. Weber decides to pull a tank job here. I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't think there's enough time in the day for Bayonne to score 17 runs, John. Marist makes some more changes. Duncan is out of the game. Now playing second base.
Stella.
There's Joe Stella. And due up for Bayonne is Redondo, Loreno, and Johnson. And John, your impression of Marist right now?
Wow. Well, I got to see him a couple innings the other day, and when I left, there was nothing. So you say, hey, they didn't do much with the sticks. They wound up winning that game 6-1. But when you watch them over a complete game against a conference opponent, where it means more than just playing an out-of-conference opponent, they really showed you what you're made of. They don't have to impress us, Paul. We know about them. We've seen them the last couple of years. We know what Mike Hogan's team brings to the table each and every day, and that's a quality team. And I think they're showing you why they are rated right now #1 in the Star Ledger in the state of New Jersey, and obviously the #1 team in Hudson County. But it's going to be interesting, Paul, to see what kind of gap there is. All right, they've already beaten Memorial by a run, but they played without Weber or Duncan, and they played without them on the mound, obviously. Hoboken is a good team, but they took a thumping yesterday to Ferris. Ferris is a good team. So we're going to kind of see later on in the year what kind of gap there is between a Marist and a Memorial, a Marist and a Hoboken, a Marist and a Ferris.
Redondo, line drive to right field, base hit. A good, hard line drive to right field. In the last 3 innings, Bayonne has put the bats on the ball.
Here comes AD of the year, Mike Pearson, walking by.
Take care, Michael. Mike, a regular at Venice in Bayonne, one of his favorite spots. They go there after every celebration. I'm wondering if they'll be there tonight after this big victory over Bayonne. There's another line drive, and that's headed, well, it's not going to get to the gap as it's retrieved and thrown in. Another base hit. Runners at first and second.
I think they got a little kick out of that.
Johnson coming to bat. Runners at first and second. Ray is 1 for 3 on the day. That pitch is outside for a ball. PJ Zarichny is on deck.
In the last couple innings, Bayonne has put the bat on the ball very well.
There's a foul ball off the breaking ball. 1-1. It's been all Marist. 8 runs in the first, 1 in the third, 4 in the fifth, 4 in the sixth, and 4 in the seventh. Quite a show by the Royal Knights. A 1-1 pitch from Weber. The breaking ball is fouled back. Johnson, pitcher of record right now on the losing side. He will go to 1-1. Weber will go to 3-0. John Ward, I think, is going to run for mayor of Bayonne.
Everybody's saying hi to me.
1-2, swung on a miss. Johnson is out. Well, now he's out to throw to first. The runners are going. Playable. Not have a play at third, so it's going to go down as a stolen base for both Redondo and Lorino.
We could have almost had a strikeout double play on that. If that was a good throw from Mongoya to third, we would have had a double play.
So Johnson is out on the strikeout. Mike Hogan now going out to the mound, and I'll tell you why, John. He's very upset. There was no need for a throw there. Johnson is out automatically. There was less than 2 outs.
Exactly.
And first base occupied. So a throw in the dirt doesn't matter.
What it does is it actually advances each runner a base for no
Right.
reason.
That's right. So I'm sure Mike Hogan is addressing his team about that. Had there been 2 outs, there wouldn't have been any problem. But there's less than 2 outs and first base occupied, and the runners weren't going. So Marist made a mental error there. And Hogan was quick to tell his team, because in a crucial situation, that's going to hurt this team.
Could you imagine if it cost you a game like that? Let's say you were up a
I was
run.
surprised they threw
Let's
the
say
ball.
they were only up a run here.
Right.
Base hit,
Sure.
they would lose
That's
on,
right.
on a simple mental mistake.
That's right.
Physical mistakes, Paul, they're going to happen.
Sure.
Mental mistakes without thinking are virtually uncalled for.
Luckily, it's a 17-run lead, and there really is not too much harm done. Although Dave Weber's not going to be too happy if 1 or 2 of these runs score.
So really, what they should have done was actually thrown down the third immediately.
If the runner had taken
And,
off,
if he
right.
didn't, and even if he didn't take off, at least you're holding him from not advancing.
Well, the best thing to do, John, is just throw the ball back to Weber.
That's all.
You know. So Zarichny.
They put everything on his shoulders.
That's right. Zarichny steps in. Runners at second and third. 1 out. Zarichny 2 for 3 today, 2 singles, and he grounded to second. PJ just sticking that bat out and getting a bat on the ball. And as you said, John, the last 3 innings, Bayonne has touched Weber, 4 innings, for 10 hits out of their 11. The 0-2, breaking ball, nice breaking ball. Zarichny gets a piece of it.
Keeps himself alive. 10 hits in the last 4 innings.
11 on the day. That's a high hit total for Dave Weber. Maybe his highest in the last 2 years. There's a line drive to left field, headed down near the line, and it's in there, and it's going to get by the left fielder. 2 runs will score. Zarichny will continue to second and will make the turn and hold. So it falls in for a double down the left field line. Redondo and Lorino score. And Zarichny has his 3rd hit of the day, a 3-for-4 day against Dave Weber. He's got to be very happy about that.
Now that's 11 hits in the last 4 innings off of Weber. Very uncharacteristic from the senior right-hander.
And it's going to bring up Damian Palucci as you see Dave Weber. Will face Palucci. Palucci is 0 for 0. Walked, been hit by a pitch and hit a sac fly. Breaking ball is low. 1 out.
Gives Zarichny 2 RBIs on that as well. So a fine day from the junior left fielder.
1-0 pitch. A slow breaking ball. Base hit to left field. Pichon bobbles it and retrieves in time. No further advancement. Zarichny goes to 3rd. Palucci on at 1st. And it's going to bring up Jose Cornelius. Runners at 1st and 3rd, and Weber has been tagged in the last 4 innings. And I don't care what the score is, John. He just cannot be happy about this, and Mike Hogan cannot be happy about it.
All those hits have been hit fairly well. I mean, those have been solid base hits. I think the one that hurts the most, Paul, is a guy coming off the bench to pitch hit and then taking you deep out of the park.
A slow breaking ball. Cornelius waves at it. Runners at 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Bayonne trailing 20-6 here in the 7th. Weber, low fastball, misses. 1-1. On deck, the scheduled hitter was Lorino. 1-1 pitch, a soft fly ball hit down the first base line. Good effort by Mingoya, but he can't get to it. Count goes to 1-2.
Weber was able to bust Cornelius on that inside fastball, get him on a fist. That's what you want to do to guys. You want to get him in on a fist so they don't get that arm extension.
Jose's been having trouble with the breaking ball as well. You may see another one right here. A 1-2 pitch. High fastball. Hit in the air. Center field. Caught there. The throw coming in. Tedesco made the play. The run will score. Well, that's not Tedesco. We had a change out there. That's number 23 for Marist making that play. Rich Bukowski, the backup outfielder. So he makes the play.
But nonetheless, an RBI sac fly for Jose Cornelius, and they've gotten 3 runs off Weber here in the bottom half of the 7th.
Zarichny scores on the play. Palucci holds it first, 2 down. Now 20-7. And check that. Chris Lorino will bat for himself here in the 7th inning. Weber to the stretch. First pitch misses.
I tell you, even though it sounds funny, but I think Bayonne would like to have that first inning back in their pocket where they could start it all over again.
1-1 now to Lorino. He represents the last chance for Bayonne. Palucci on at first. That misses. 2-1.
Palucci coming in with the Johnny Unitas spikes.
For them during football too. Count goes to 3-1. Top of the order coming up after this hitter.
Surprised Weber's in this long?
I don't think so. I think Hogan wants him to work out of these situations. Pitch is in for a call strike. Full count now. Palucci will be running on the pitch. Full count. Runner on first, 2 outs. There goes Palucci. Down low, and Lorino walks. So we'll have runners at first and second. And the top of the order coming up, Ed Young. 2 for 4, 2 singles stepping in. The last 4 innings, particularly the last 2, have been a real struggle for Weber. Weber working from the stretch. That's swung on and missed. Runners at first and
Weber's
second.
gotten great run support in his last 2 games, 21 and 22 runs. So he's worked out of comfortable situations the last 2 games.
We're going to get McMahon warming up again.
Ed?
That's Matt. Matt McMahon will warm up once again. He warmed up earlier. That's a sophomore. That's low and outside. Now the count goes to 1-1 to Ed Young.
Young aspiring fan behind us. We're in his Marist gear.
A 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. A nice outside fastball. Young was trying to pull it. Had no chance. And the count goes to 1-2. Weber to the stretch. That's inside and low. 2-2. Palucci at second. Lorino at first. The 2-2 pitch to Young. Fastball. Hit on the ground. Through the hole. Base hit to left. Pichon comes up throwing. A throw to the plate. And it will not be in time as Palucci scores and Bayonne adds another run. Makes it 20-8. So the Bees refuse to die.
Give a lot of credit to the Bayonne Bees. They, as you said, Paul, they refused to die. They've come back and scored 8 runs on a lot of hits off Dave Weber.
Sure have. They've got.
But I said, you're also a different type pitcher, Paul, when you have that big, comfortable lead.
Oh, sure.
I mean, you can afford to make a couple mistakes.
I'm sure Dave has let up a little jump, but right here now where he needs to bear down, he hasn't been able to do it. Rod Castaldo steps in. Castaldo hit the best shot of the day off Weber. And right center field triple. Now he waves over one, strike one.
Castaldo having a great defensive game on the day as well, and the right field fence has just fallen down.
The 0-1, high fastball, fouled back. Now, John, this is the 9th hitter of the inning, too. When's the last time a team batted around against Dave Weber?
Who knows? As you can see, the right field fence has gone down again.
Without the help of Eddie Young this time. The 0-2 pitch, down low, blocked. Runners hold. The Brew does a nice job of getting in front of that ball. And the count goes to 1-2. So Weber once again will look to end it here. Young at first, Marino at second. Castaldo. A 1-2 pitch. Swung on, hit on the ground to short, flip to second, thrown away. 1 run will score as Lorino comes around. That's a throwing error on the shortstop. Young is going to try and score. Now he's going to hold as he puts the brakes on. Zanone fires to third. And Bayonne adds another run, and it's now 20-9. Incredible. This game may not end. Young goes to third. Castaldo continues to second. And Tony Redondo, I checked, it is 21-9. 21-9. Tony Redondo steps in. And maybe Bayonne will get under that 10-run rule anyway in the end.
Maybe Phil knew what he was doing.
Redondo singled to right the last time up. That's going to go as an error. His shortstop.
Error on Rubino.
Matt Rubino. That's down low for a ball. Runners at second and third now. Young at third, Castaldo at second. A 1-0 pitch. Hit in the air, this could do it. Center field. And Bukowski is there to put it away and end the ball game. Finally. And Dave Weber has to breathe a sigh of relief there as things got hairy for him in that last inning. Well, that does it. In the last inning, Bayonne picks up 5 runs. And in the inning, they had 5 hits. There was 1 Marist error. They left 2 runners on base, and that's the final score, John. Marist 21, Bayonne 9. More like a softball score.
More like a softball score. The game was not so much over in the first inning, but a real dent was put into the Bayonne attack because they were down 8-0 at the end of the first inning thanks to the grand slam from Tony Tedesco. It was all uphill battle there by the Bees, but let's put it this way, Paul, they did not quit. So you got to give the Bees a lot of credit, but it was basically all Marist today. as they had too much offensive punch. Dave Weber's you're a different type pitcher when you have that big lead, and I don't think we saw the true Dave Weber today. But nonetheless, you get a shot there. Mike Hogan, nonetheless, please, you come away with a victory against an inner city rival. No problem with that, and he'll up his HCI record as well. So good things are still happening for the Marist Royal Knights.
Oh, no doubt about it, John. The Marist Royal Knights are a quality team. They're a team to be reckoned with, still ranked #1 in the state and still the best team in this county, unless someone else can prove otherwise.
Okay, so that will do it from Bayonne Veterans Memorial Stadium with your final score. The Marist Royal Knights 21, the Bayonne Bees 9. Marist ups their record to 5-3. Bayonne falls to 4-4. The line score 21 runs, 20 hits, and 1 error for the Marist Royal Knights. 9 runs, 14 hits, and 2 errors for the Bayonne Bees. For Paul Giorgio and John Ward and the entire staff of Cablevision of Bayonne, good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back, and you just looked at the girls softball top 5 with Holy Family #1 and Bayonne #3. But we're joined in the studio now by the coach of the #1 ranked team, baseball team rather, in the state of New Jersey, that being the Marist Royal Knights head coach Mike Hogan. Mike, welcome to Sports Route.
Thanks for inviting me.
You get the dubious distinction of being #1. Now you got to carry it all the way through. Let's talk about first the Upper Deck Classic that your team went 1-3, and it's by invitation only, correct?
Yes.
And then teams that go out there, probably the best teams in the nation. You won your first game, then kind of slipped in your last day. Do you think the bad weather that we had in March and team not be able to get out really hurt the team?
Yeah, it hurt to a certain extent, but I still think we didn't play well. I think, defensively we were pretty poor, and it hurt.
In terms of your pitching, how did Dave Weber and Devon Duncan throw out there?
Dave threw well the first game, and it doesn't show by the score because it was 8-7. We didn't exactly play well defensively. In the second game, Duncan gave up 4 runs in the first inning. Again, we made a couple errors, and we were down 4-0. We pulled it within 4-1. He pitched well. Then I think it was the bottom of the 6th. He gave up 3 more runs.
Now, I've had a chance to see your team play twice, and the lumber has been out ever since you come back to New Jersey. Was the pitching that much better out there, or the bat just a little bit behind?
Well, all our pitches were good, very good high school pitches, but they weren't anything exceptional in the whole tournament. Even Simi Valley, which won the tournament, or Westminster Christian, which was #1 going into the tournament. But their pitches through strikes, they played very well defensively. That was the big difference between us and the teams out there.
Mike, right at the top of the lineup, you come in with Matt Rubino, Mike Mullane, then you come up with the heavyweights with Dave Weber, Devon Duncan, and Warner Brew. There's 5 guys right there in the beginning of the lineup that could produce some early runs. For a guy like Weber and Duncan on the mound, let's take the Bayonne game, for example. Dave Weber goes out on the mound with an 8-run lead. It's got to be a good feeling once he knows the top of the lineup's going to produce some runs for them.
Well, it makes it much easier, but you know Bayonne can hit, and every time we play them, it's a game where they score some runs, and they did hit.
Well, that's the first thing Coach Baccarella had told us when he was on the show is, my team is going to hit. Unfortunately, I don't have the arms to, let's say, compete with the Marist on a day-in and day-out basis, but my bats will be there, and they had the 1 hit off Weber through the first ratings, then they got to him later on.
Right.
Was he tiring, or was it just the case where you thought Bayonne was kind of catching up to the fastball?
They hit the fastball. I mean, they had maybe 1 or 2 hits off curveballs, but he was pretty good with his curveball, but the fastball just didn't, he wasn't getting the fastball by too many people.
A team that's on the rise, and Coach Baccarella said, thank God we played them early, and before you came on we were talking, is the North Bergen Bruins. You played them Friday. What do you like from them?
Well, the shortstop is outstanding. Miguel Montilla, he's a switch hitter, but he'll bat lefty against us. Very fast. He played against, I saw him against St. Joe's on Friday in pretty bad conditions. It was very cold and windy, and made some outstanding plays defensively at shortstop. They won the game 4-1. In a game like that, you don't see much hitting because it just wasn't a nice day. The wind was blowing, and balls were coming from right field, from winding up at second base. And he's another kid who's under a lot of pressure and performing well because, I mean, there must have been 10, 12 scouts there that day to watch him. You know, every time he gets up, every time he feels a ball, you know, they're watching him.
We'll touch on 3 top teams here in Hudson County other than yourself. Hoboken, Ferris, and Memorial. Now, you got a chance to see Memorial beat them 8-7. You had a chance to see Ferris. This is a team that knocked off Hoboken 15-7. So it looks like their lumber's out already.
Right, I've seen Ferris twice. Saw Ferris against Memorial that day where they didn't help themselves defensively. And then saw them come from behind against Omari Knight, who throws the ball pretty well for Lincoln. They were down 3-0 going into the 6th, and they won the game 8, I think it was 8-4. Some good players.
In terms of the new HCIA format where 8 teams make the playoffs, do you like that format?
No.
Reason being?
I think that it should be 2 divisions, whether it's north-south or by enrollment. I think rivalries are created by playing teams twice and playing teams geographically.
Right.
Now I can understand the HCIA not going geographically because there's more teams in the south than there would be in the north. There'd be 9 teams in Jersey City and Bayonne, only 6 in the north. But something to create rivalries. When you play somebody once, it's not the same.
In terms of your team now, it's a senior-dominated team when you take a look at the game we did against Bayonne. I noticed the first 8 hitters were all seniors, but it doesn't stop there because you got a quite nucleus on your underclassmen. But let's take a look at some of your seniors that came back from your dominating team last year, like a Matt Rubino and Mike Mullane. These 2 guys get it started for the big guys in the middle.
Well, Matt was a backup everything last year. He played second, third, short. When he played, he hit well, but we had 3 seniors, Bobby Powers, Anthony Thalman, and Brian Davis at those 3 spots. He's maybe our most valuable as far as we can't afford to get him hurt because of his defense. We don't have another shortstop. Mike Mullane has been DHing until Saturday when he played for the first time, played right field because his shoulder was bothering him. And Julio Gonzalez is a freshman playing second base. So Matt's very important. Mike Mullane has been our leading hitter. Just like last year, he makes contact.
Since you've been at Marist, is this the first freshman to start for you?
Yeah, at Marist, yes. Bobby started as a freshman, but that wasn't at Marist.
Now, Devon Duncan has had 28 strikeouts in his last 2 games. He's really showing people around the area what type of dominating pitchers, and he also has 2 victories in those last 2 games. Obviously, he's pitching well, but he does it with the bat as well, Mike.
Well, he's hit the ball fairly well. I think he could be a better, but pitching-wise, he has pitched as well as we could expect. I mean, last year, he struck out, I think, 32 batters all year. He didn't have the great fastball that he had his sophomore year. He didn't have the stamina. He seemed to tire very quickly. And the last 2 games, he has pitched very well.
Did he do anything different in the offseason?
No, he knew that the way he was pitching, he wasn't throwing properly, and worked to change that.
That's something I always wanted to talk to you about. Obviously, you have one of the top programs, top 3 programs, I feel, in the state of New Jersey right now. Probably right now, that top program in Hudson County, probably along with the Hoboken Red Wings. You guys, to be as productive as they are, they play year-round. What are some of the things they do in the summer, their off-season conditioning?
Well, we play all summer together. They also play in a fall league, and they start lifting in usually the 2nd week in November.
In terms of Warner Brew being one of the top catchers in Hudson County, do you think this is a guy to get looked at as far as the Major League Draft is concerned?
He's a very good catcher. He's a strong body. Has hit the ball pretty well for us this year. But he's most important as a catcher. I mean, catching, our pitching staff. He's done a very good job. He has a good arm.
Is Tony Tedesco known for the long ball? Because I know against Bayonne he opened up the first inning with a grand slam and really set the table for Dave Weber having that 8-run first inning to work with. Do you look at him for power or just to get on base, basically?
Well, Tony, the 3 outfielders, that's what we try to explain to our younger kids. If you're patient, you're going to play.
The Italian connection out
right.
there.
Well, none of them played much last year.
Right.
I mean, they were not.
I know
starters.
Pashon played football this past.
Pashon's been a football player all the time. He played baseball last year. He was our 3rd-string first baseman. He was behind Weber and Duncan. He moved to left. Tedesco, who didn't play much last year in the outfield, he was like our 5th outfielder, and Mike Zanone, who didn't play much. And all of them, as much as the top 5 hitters have contributed, that bottom of the order has been very productive.
In terms of third base, I've noticed the 2 games that I've been at, you've had a different third baseman. Are you still trying to settle in on a third baseman right now?
There's no set third baseman. I mean, Chris Mongoy's played there, Joe Stella's played there, Tommy Lee has played there. And in California, Dave Weber even played there.
What position does Mullane play when he's not DH? Because I think he has a shoulder injury, or I
He
overheard.
hurt his shoulder in March, you know, diving back to a base in the gym. And so he would have been the starting shortstop, and Rubino would have been the second baseman. So in California, we kept Rubino at second and moved Julio to short. That didn't work, so we just flip-flopped them. Knew that Mike is one of our best hitters, if not our most productive hitter as far as consistency, and put him at DH, and now Saturday played right field. He's a good out. Last year he was our outfielder. He was our left fielder.
Everyone knows the Marist pitching staff is spearheaded by Dave Weber and Devon Duncan, but who are the guys, Mike, that complement them on the mound?
Well, if we're going to do well, especially this week, we have 4 games. We have North Bergen, well, we have Hoboken tomorrow. We have St. Joe's on Wednesday. We have North Bergen on Friday, and Notre Dame, which is number 2 in the state, on Saturday down there. So we're going to have to get more pitching. Matt McMahon, who pitched against Memorial, did a good job. Will pitch probably Saturday. And Julio, who pitched a little bit in California, will probably start on Wednesday.
Your game with Notre Dame is down there?
At Mercer County Park.
So it'll be the battle of number 1 against number 2 as far as the Star Ledger is concerned. Mike, in terms of the HCIA playoffs coming up, as you said, you didn't like the 18 format. But other than yourself, you got to like the Memorial Tigers, you got to like the Hoboken Red Wings, because Buddy Matthews always finds a way come tournament time. He's got a young team. He lost a lot, but he's starting to find that groove since they've come back from Florida, where they lost a couple games down there, one being to North Bergen in a conference game. Did you like that game being a conference game down there? I know it doesn't affect you in a certain way,
I mean, it shows that, you know, teams can cooperate instead of saying, okay, I don't want to play down there, I want to play up here. I don't even know whose home team game it was. Right. Somebody gave up a home field advantage to at least work out schedule and kinks. I mean, people have cooperated with us when we've gone away, and at least it shows cooperation. Because, I mean, I think it helps North Bergen, it helps Hoboken, it helps us going away.
Since you've come back from your trip from California, pleased with the team's progress so far?
Yeah, we've played much better since we came back.
I know you're putting a lot of runs on the board. You had 16 against Elizabeth, 21 against Bayonne. Happy with the defense since you've come back? Because you said that was one of the weak points out in California.
The defense has been much better. You know, hitting is not a concern, because when you're early in the season, you're just not going to hit. Them teams were much more advanced. But you thought, even though we weren't outside, you thought enough of ground balls and enough work in the gym, you'd be better defensively. And we didn't do the job defensively.
And real quick, you haven't heard anything yet as far as the Pro Kid Beach State tournament is concerned, whether they're going to let Marist in or not?
No.
That's something down the road.
No, they haven't said anything. They said they'll make a decision before tournament time.
So you're busy with the Pro Scouts now?
They're, you know, they come around, they want to know when the 2 kids are going to pitch, and, you know, Dave didn't pitch as well last game, but he pitched real well out in California, and Devon has pitched real well his last 2 games.
Real quick before we finish the segment, Coach, there's one athlete that Marist has right now that everybody's talking about, that being Rashad Casey. Let's just talk about him from a baseball standpoint. What do you see for him in the future with your program?
Well, I think he could be very good. You know, could be starting outfielder next year, and could pitch. You know, he's pitched some on JV. He's played freshman. He's only played a couple innings for us.
Thank you, Coach. Mike Hogan, the head coach of the Marist Royal Knights, the #1 team in the state of New Jersey. We'll be back right after this.
He's the first base runner of the game.
Salvatore jumping on that inside fastball just out of the reach of Mangoya to give North Bergen the first hit of the ball game.
And it'll bring up Alan Perez. Perez is the opposing pitcher today, and not a bad hitter, coming in at 323, and he leads the Bruins in RBI.
Perez, we know, is an outstanding football player for Vinny Ascalese's Bruins, as is Montilla.
Duncan's first pitch is on the knees for strike 1. Duncan has moved the ball around well in the early going, John.
That's his forte. He's going to set you up with a wide array of pitches, and location is very important for Duncan.
The 0-1 is up high. So the count 1-1 with Salvatore on at first, and 1 out. Duncan's 1-1 was outside and low, and
Perez looked like he
Perez
wanted to
nearly
offer on that, but he did hold up.
He nearly offered at it, as John mentioned, but he held the bat. No help needed on the bases for that. So the count will go 2-1. Salvatore taking a short lead. 2-1 pitches. That fastball really moved, and it goes to 2-2.
Tough pitch to take for Perez. Maybe looking curveball there and got fooled by the nice fastball there by Duncan.
So the count goes 2-2 now. Salvatore widens his lead a little bit. Pitch is swung on and popped up in foul territory behind us and nearly hits the North Bergen bus. So the count remains 2-2. We get our first base camera shot. You can see the array of scouts, as John alluded to earlier, near the cage. Breaking ball reached and nubbed to short. Fielded by Rubino, and he makes the double play as he steps on second and guns down Perez at first. An inning-ending double play, a great curveball from Duncan, and the Bruins go down with 1 hit, no runs. There were no Marist errors, no one left on base, and after 1/2, it's the North Bergen Bruins nothing, and the Marist Royal Knights coming to bat.
Excellent pitch by Devon Duncan. Had Alan Perez off balance, and all he could do was just throw his bat out, and consequently hits it to Rubino, who steps on second onto first for the inning-ending double play.
And John, actually, Perez would have been better off striking out.
That's right, because they still had at least a base runner on with the cleanup batter coming up.
So there was no runs on 1 hit, no errors, no one left on, and Marist will come up. And John, why don't you give us the Marist starting lineup?
Marist lineup today will be Matt Rubino at short, followed by Mike Mullane, Dave Weber, Devon Duncan, Warner Brew, Tony Tedesco, Mike Zanone, Lou Pichon, and Chris Goya.
And setting the North Bergen defense, in left field is Cesar Ramirez, in center Juan La Madrid, over in right John Rivera, at third base Craig Turner, the shortstop who we've mentioned quite often, Miguel Montilla, second base Mark Salvatore, over at first is Orlando Fuentes. Behind the plate for North Bergen, well, I've got Jose Cornelius, but that was from the last game. That's Rene Rodriguez behind the plate, and Alan Perez is the pitcher.
That was the Bayonne game last week.
Right. And Perez is a fairly quick right-hander, strong right-hander.
Beat the Hoboken Red Wings down in the Florida trip when they went down to that Cocoa Beach Expo. So that was a big win down there for the Bruins.
And Coach John Mazzo said that Perez's greatest attributes are that he keeps his fastball down and tough to hit, and that he has a lion's heart. We know that from the football season. And he will get ready to deliver now to the leadoff hitter for Marist, Matt Rubino. And the first pitch from Perez is outside.
In speaking with Coach Phil Baccarella of the Bayonne Bees earlier in the season, he was fortunate and happy to play North Bergen then and beat them 9-1, because he said, John, this team is going to be very good as the year goes along, and that's just what they're proving. So Coach Baccarella right on target with that statement. This North Bergen team is getting better and better, and when the playoffs roll around, they're going to be a tough team to beat.
Perez's 1-1 breaking ball is outside and low. Count goes to 2-1. Perez 2-1 right now on the season. That pitch is inside. Goes to 3-1. So Perez falls behind Rubino. Rubino, an excellent leadoff hitter. In the game with Bayonne last week that we did, he was 5 for 6. And that's too low, and Rubino is on base with a walk.
Works out a leadoff walk for the Royal Knights, and that'll, you know, once that leadoff guy gets on, you got Mullane, Weber, and Duncan to deal with, and it's not how you want to start off the first inning.
Now, John, there's no question about that, especially if Rubino and Mullane get on base, and you've got two of the finest hitters in the area coming up to bat in Weber and Duncan. Right now, Mullane, who was an excellent hitter in his own right, that was in for a, was up high, ball 1. Mullane, a transfer from St. Peter's Prep, came over here to Marist and has made this team from an excellent team into a tremendous team, or helped make it into that, as he fouls one off for 1-1. Joe Urbanovich was very upset over losing Mike Mullane. John, he was very important to that team, as he is right here at Marist.
Mullane had some arm or shoulder problems early in the year, and that's why he was the DH, but he's out in right field today for the Royal Knights.
Mullane would normally play shortstop when he's healthy. Breaking ball is way wide, 2-1
They're not doing too bad with Rubino there now.
No, he's done a nice job. Mike Hogan mentioned that to me last night when I spoke to him. He's very happy with the job that Matt Rubino has done at shortstop. The count 2-1 now. Perez has been laying off his fastball. And that was an off-speed pitch as well, and it's fouled. Makes the count 2-2.
Marist going with the hit and run there, and Mullane trying to hit it to the right side to get at least Rubino over, fouls it away.
Perez may have seen a tape of the Bayonne game, John, and saw what happened to Ray Johnson when he went to his fastball too often. He scored 8 runs off Johnson before there was an out. The 2-2 pitch, a breaking ball swung on and missed, and a great double play as Montilla puts a nice quick swipe off the throw from Rivera or Rodriguez, and they nail Rubino going down. They strike him out, throw him out, double play, 2 away.
Great quick throw there by the catcher, Johnny Rivera, and give a lot of credit to Montilla on the tag. He came in front of the bag and did a swipe tag and got Rubino. Nice double play for the Bruins.
Excellent execution. As John mentioned, a great tag. As Dave Weber steps in now. That's down low.
Weber had a big game last week against the Bayonne Bees here as he hit probably the farthest ball of the day, and unfortunate for him, it was only a double because it bounced over the fence.
That's outside. I believe the count is 3-0 right now on Weber. It's either 3-0 and 2-1. We missed that first pitch.
Weber had an outstanding pitching performance the other day against the Hoboken Red Wings. Went 4 1/3 of scoreless, perfect game going until Mike Casaza broke it up with a base hit. He wound up pitching a 1-hitter, striking out 10 against a very good Hoboken lineup, beating them 6-0.
So Weber walks on 4 pitches as Perez is having some control problems. And now he goes against Duncan. And Duncan, as we know, also has excellent power. He steps in with 2 out. Weber on at first. A double play very big right now. Weber takes a decent lead. Devon pops it down the right field line over near our truck and out of play. So the count goes 0-1. And it was important for Perez to get ahead of Duncan, John, as he went 4 pitches to Weber and walked him. And
you got to be careful.
You
have to be careful how you work Devon Duncan. You give him an inside fastball, he's going to drill it over that left field fence. He's got very good power, so you got to be careful how you work to the senior.
And he does go with the pitch very well too, as we saw last week that he was able to use his power to right too, and would have had a home run if not for a great play by Eddie Young of Bayonne. Breaking ball in for a strike.
Play where the right center field fence just totally collapsed as Eddie Young went through it like Herman Munster.
He went through it like Mighty Joe Young. The count goes to 0-2. Weber on at first. Perez just showing some respect. Sometimes you catch a runner leaning even though you don't throw it over there that hard, John. This time Weber was ready. The 0-2 pitch swung on and hit to right field fairly deep, but going back to Rivera, and he makes the catch. Had a little trouble with it, a little white showing, but he makes the play.